Everybody, but we're also on tape. We are in the bowels of this music. Episode 125 of Kamloops Last week. Christopher Folds. No Magic Mike today, but we got Bennett and Bill at the helm.
Everything good up there on the control panel? Everything's good. Yeah, Mike Miltonmore's down in Anaheim.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, he's at the trade show.
What is it exactly again? It's a trade show? NAM. Yeah. He's in NAM.
He's in NAM.
Yeah, I hope he comes back okay.
With a gold, with a, what do you got? A green heart. Purple heart.
Purple heart. Okay, 25, anything? 125?
125. Yeah, 125. Hey, you know, dynasties. I like dynasties in sports, right?
Yeah.
I just have I like that. So if you think in my time, well, not your time, before your time, but my time in hockey, the Flyers won the Stanley Cup 2 years in a row, 74, 75.
That's not really a
dynasty,
though, right?
But on the way. So the first real dynasty of my era was the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, the Canadiens.
76. Yep. They won 4 in a row. Then the Islanders won 4 in a row. Then the Oilers won 4 to 5. Would have won 6 in a row probably if they. And then of course the Penguins won 2. But that they're not there anymore. So I was looking it up last night. Guy Lafleur was the leading scorer in the first year of the dynasty. The leading scorer in the league, his first ever Art Ross Trophy, 125 points.
125 points.
7 years later, only 7 years later, Wayne Gretzky won the scoring race. He had 125 assists.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then he had 90-something goals or something. And then interestingly, is Wayne Gretzky leads all NHLers with the most 125 plus point seasons in a career, which was 13.
See, the game didn't change that much in that short of a time. That's how good Wayne was.
Yeah.
7 years later.
It changed a little
it changed
more in the 80s. But, yeah, but in that time it was still rough and tumble. Yeah. Incredible. Yeah.
You're playing through the pain? You've been sick, down and out?
Down and out, on my back, in bed for 3.5 straight days. It was unreal.
Okay.
I'm not contagious. I'm just all dopey. Haven't had a glass of wine since Saturday night.
Well, you do actually seem fresher than usual on the show.
Well, I feel
you should be sick more often.
It's crazy, yeah.
Okay, speaking of working and playing through the pain, we have an impromptu guest this morning. So you texted me about an hour ago saying, hey, the mayor's gone back to Mexico and there's been some concern from Stephen Karpuk.
He told Kristen Holiday from Castanet, friend of the show, she had written a story that mentioned that he's told her that he found out on Monday, January 22nd, that the mayor wouldn't be there the following day to chair the meeting and the public hearing. So, because I think he's deputy mayor, he had to do something, and he told the media that he was caught by surprise, short notice, that he didn't know the mayor was in Mexico, and the mayor said, well, he's a busy guy, and that he went to Mexico in December, came back, was on our show, went back to Mexico on vacation, but he's also working, as he tells us, 24/7. And he was at the meeting.
Hammer time.
He was at this week's council meeting by Zoom or virtual. And but there's some bit of chatter out there about, hey, well, I thought you just went to Mexico. What are you doing back in Mexico? But he's saying he's working. So I texted him to say, hey, there's a lot of chatter out here. Why don't you come out? Why don't you zoom in from Cabo or Mexico, wherever, I think he's in Cabo, and just clarify for the masses what's happening.
Well, and you said send him the Zoom link. We'll see what happens. So I texted him. He says, you betcha, available 24/7.
So we're taping this now on Thursday, January 25th. It's 9:35 a.m. So if all goes to plan, within an hour, we'll have the mayor on to talk about what he's doing and why he's back in Mexico and what kind of work he's working on down there.
In the meantime, we have a fantastic show. You are a Chimera. I say Chimera. Do you say Chimera?
Yeah, I think it's Chimera.
Because there's different ways of saying it. I say
Don't
Chimera.
trust me on pronunciation, but I think it's Chimera.
Yeah, Matty Dunstan. Chimera Theatre. Mm-hmm. So, but you've been there and you've seen some of the plays there. This one, it's William Shakespeare Mystery Box. It starts in February. So we've got some of the main players involved coming on our show today. Aaron Shuffletosky, your boy Shuffle T. He's seen every single episode, by the way, so shout out to Shuffle T.
He's a good guy, and he just posted real syrupy love note on Facebook for his girlfriend / wife of 8 years. You saw that, didn't you? Yeah,
I got some heat for what I posted the other day with some pictures.
Both of you guys, you got to just get off that already, man. Get a room already. Anyway, he's a good guy and a really good guy.
He's not coming on the show, but we have the play director, Dan Ondang. He's also Chimera's artistic managing director. So he's going to join us along with Andrew Robertson. He's Chimera's artistic producer, and he plays the lead actor in William Shakespeare Mystery Box. They're going to come tell us about this play, but they can't say a whole lot.
No, because
it's a mystery.
It's a mystery of what play of Shakespeare they're going to be performing. However, I love it when we have art stuff on here. I'm an advocate for more art stuff.
So we'll learn as much as we can from them. We also have our monthly KLW on the Blazers segment. We've got Missy Cederholm coming on, along with not Michael Ryan, Ryan Michael of the Kamloops
Michael
Blazers.
Ryan was actually 1999 draft pick of the Dallas Stars. Different guy.
There you go.
The names were reversed.
KMHA night this weekend, Saturday. Blazers hosting the Rockets. It's also Literacy and Kamloops Book Drive Night. I thought you would like that.
That's well, with the newspaper, we were huge with Link, Literacy and Kamloops, all that stuff, Razor Reader, all that stuff. Yeah.
So we'll ask them about that. In the meantime, let's talk about some Kamloops news. Well, do you want to talk about, first of all, Reid being gone? Do you see this being an issue?
No, I don't. He asked me today, can I go on vacation and work? And I said, yeah, I have no issue with it. I just said we should come on because there are people in the community talking about it, so why not get it from the horse's mouth? I don't know enough about it to even have an opinion. Let's talk to him and find out what about it.
I would say that if people are picking up tasks because he's gone and hasn't let them know, then that's an issue, right?
Well, we can ask him.
We can ask him if that's happened or not, and maybe get someone else's opinion on that next week if
sure,
because we don't know enough about it at this point.
Yeah, I didn't know he was in Mexico. So
yeah, we'll find out more a little bit. Overdose deaths as we take a tough turn here. Another tough record, bad record. 2,511 in 2023. That's in British Columbia. The most ever recorded again in a year.
Every year it seems to be the worst and the worst and the worst. And the only upside, it's not an upside, but it's only like a sort of silver lining or a break in the grim clouds, is that Kamloops recorded 80 people in Kamloops last year died of an overdose, which is down from 92 the previous year, which was a record. But 80 is still about 6 and a bit per month, which is 6 deaths per month, which is way too many. I thought we should talk about it because they hadn't released it for a while. They weren't releasing the numbers in November, December. They normally don't in December because of the holiday season. But it just goes to show that it's just out of control. I was driving here today to listen to CBC, and this was the topic again on CBC, and it's just like almost like a Groundhog Day. You know, there's all these deaths. We need to do this. We're going to do this, and then a year later, there's all these deaths. We need to do this. We're going to do this. I don't know how you can solve this like you did with with COVID and stuff like that. It's just it's a disease. It's healthcare. But
you wanted to talk about, I think, because in your email you wrote. You talked about the decriminalization.
Well, I think it's a legitimate topic to talk about. Like I've been for the longest time a decrim proponent, right? I thought marijuana should have been legalized way before that. I was writing about it 20 years ago in Abbotsford, the Bible Belt, and getting criticized from people who thought that the marijuana was devil's lettuce and you'd go nuts.
And there's been results in other countries about successful decrim.
I'm all for. I think decrim is the way to go because you should be able to do this as long within reason, just like drink. A pub is a safe consumption site if you think about it, right? The pub we go to. But I think when the reason for this decriminalization program, which is now almost 1 year old, it started January 31st next year. It's a 3-year pilot project between BC and Ottawa. We're the only province you're allowed to have 2.5 grams or less of a lot of hard drugs, fentanyl, coke, heroin. You can use that. And the idea behind it ultimately was to save lives. That's what it is, via having removing the stigma of people worried about getting arrested, going for help but having drugs on them and worried about getting in trouble. So the idea is, okay, the cops aren't going to hassle you. You can use these drugs, and hopefully that would make it more open, where you can talk to the person. Maybe you want to get help. Obviously, after a year, it hasn't helped.
Well, but you can't.
No,
it hasn't even been a year.
Well, we've had 11 months.
I'm sure that Dr. Carol Fenton might come on and say, "Well, give it time."
Okay, let's give it another year, and I'll bet you right now, I'll bet you a pint that next year we're talking about the same grim numbers. I don't know if that in itself is not helping, and I think the ancillary problem from that, which is played out at City Council with respect to bylaws, with respect to more open drug use, even if it's anecdotal, with respect to the provincial government passing that law, the bill, and then the Supreme Court putting injunction on it until March 31st. All that was from an effort, a noble effort to save lives. The stats so far saying it's not saving lives. Now, it might be doing other things, but it's not doing the ultimate thing so far.
We can't
I think a year is a long time.
Blame the rise. We can't blame the rise on the project, right?
No. The rise is there. The rise is there. I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, you can't ignore the fact that this monumental decriminalization program, which was very controversial,
it hasn't worked yet.
It doesn't seem to have worked its ultimate goal is to save lives, right? It doesn't seem to have worked. Now, some of them could say, well, maybe if it wasn't there might have been 3,000 deaths.
I don't know why are you turning on it so quick though? Because you said you were a supporter of it.
No, I'm a supporter of decriminalization.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it has to, but within reason. Like I say, I can't go and drink a beer in a pub in a park, but I can go. I can shoot up heroin. Like I said,
and I agree with you. I think
I think it should be legalized, decriminalized, but everything has to be regulated. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to try and find a clip from Carol Fenn.
So I'm a very strong advocate of the safety nets, and I will always advocate for more strengthening of that. You will notice in the coroner's death review panel report that came out last year strongly recommended evidence-based continuum of care for like all the way from outpatient to inpatient, and we need it needs to be a network, and it needs to be accessible everywhere. Absolutely, I support that 100%. Okay. The reason that I still support decriminalization is that I don't expect it will probably change much in terms of substance use behavior, because again, we're not addressing the reasons that people use. We have not expanded the places people can go to use, and given all of the discourse that we have seen, the stigma is very strong. So if you or I had a colleague that worked in the trades, I don't think they would be any more likely today than they were 3 months ago disclosing that they use. And so I would not expect in this period of time to see a difference, but the utility of waiting before passing a bylaw is, if it hasn't changed, then why a bylaw now as opposed to a year ago, right? Are we doing this bylaw in response to decriminalization, or what are we trying to achieve? And that's why I think it's really important to be, what are we trying to solve? What is the problem we are trying to solve? What are the upstream factors for that? Is it housing? Is it access to care? Is it supervised consumption access? Or is it literally all of those things in place, but people are just not?
It's all of that and more.
One other thing on that. Sorry,
we're recording, right, Bennett?
This is where it goes back to this decrim thing. Another thing about the decrim thing was the reason they think it might save lives is it would draw people out of hiding, where they have to go into an alley and maybe they overdose by themselves. Maybe they'll use together without fear of getting moved along or getting arrested. Again, a noble idea. But if you look at the stats this year and every other year, the vast majority of people who have died are in homes. I'm talking homes like we have, regular homes. 49% I think died this year, last year, same with the year before, died in homes. We're talking, a lot of them are like people in the trades, males between 30 and 59, people who have good jobs. They have homes, they have cars. They're not your stereotypical what you think with a shopping cart on the street. People are dying in homes. Another 28% are dying in what they call other homes, SROs, single room occupancy hotels in the downtown east side. Like the Crossroads Inn down, social housing, like in town here. So the 28, so 49 and 50, that's 6, that's 70, that's 3/4 of the people are dying in places where they have shelter. They're not dying on the street. Very, very few people are dying in the street and in the alleys, which brings to me just a debate as to, well, if the goal is to stop people from dying alone in the alleys and stuff, I don't think the people dying in the homes like we have, are the ones you're seeing doing drugs in the public. They're not the ones. Those ones actually are quite safe. They're not the ones dying en masse. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Nancy Beppel, you last week took a fairly big stand against her notice of motion asking our mayor on behalf of our council to write Justin Trudeau on the Israel-Gaza conflict, and she has withdrawn that. She didn't end up going
Nancy
to council.
Beppel, let me preface it by saying that I think she's one of the more interesting councillors who has a lot of good ideas, a lot of interesting ideas. She's probably the most innovative councillor, I think, if you look at her Twitter feed and everything. I do like a lot of ideas she comes with. I don't agree with all of them, and this is one of them I didn't agree with. And we could agree to disagree. We had a good debate on Radio NL a year or two ago regarding whether or not the government should give the city more money because of the bylaws to legalize marijuana. And we had a good debate on the radio, and I think I said my point, she said her point. Anyway, she wanted that. She wanted the government to call for a ceasefire, call for the release of all hostages, to do what it can to stop the carnage over there, which is, it's brutal, right? It's brutal on both sides. Israel is guilty as well about what they're doing there, and Hamas, like I said before, a pox on all their houses. But I thought that was kind of stay in your lane.
Cherry picking.
Why not? You got to do it with every atrocity in the world. Every atrocity is equal in my mind. You can't just say because it's getting all the front page in the New York Times. You got to look at the stuff in Sri Lanka. You got to look at the stuff in Burma, in China, whatever. And that was my point. So anyway, she pulled it back. She did not go forward. As I understand it, she talked to a bunch of counselors beforehand and found that she's not going to get the support for whatever reason. They're not going to support it. So rather than waste a lot of time, kudos to her.
Yeah.
Knowing it's not going to pass, she said, okay, forget it. She's going to go back to the drawing board, try to work on another wording that might appeal to the counselors, and then come back to that.
What do you think? But that's probably not going to work, is it?
Well, it depends on the wording. Depends on what she's saying, right? I don't know. It's if I'm another counselor, it's like walking into a minefield. It's a political thing, right? Like I said before, you don't have to be on one side or the other. I'm not. I think they're both at fault. But you can still fault one and the other and still love the victims of both and mourn for the families of both. So I think, but as a politician, you want to be careful not to be seen as being on one side or the other, as we see everywhere on the campuses of universities on both sides of the border, where you have people being accused of being anti-Semitic and people being Islamophobic. It's just ridiculous. So I think they should focus on build Kamloops, the PAC, snowplow, taxes, everything they can. They have power to locally. As I said before, there's not enough time or money to fix everything locally. Until you can do that, then maybe look outward.
Maca Ranch. Before we talk about Build Kamloops, Maca Ranch. This is their last of 10. They signed a massive deal with us, massive contract to advertise on our show, a 10-episode contract.
Patrick Mahomes looked at the contract and he's envious, licking his lips for the contract.
So is Travis Kelce. So is Andy Reid.
Yeah, well, yeah.
This is the last episode of the 10-episode contract. Big Mike of Maca Ranch was at my house for that Chiefs game. Actually, he had a massive parlay riding on the Bills winning.
Yeah.
$900 he would have won if the Bills won, and the Bills lost.
You can't blame Bass for that totally either.
No,
that last drive was weird. Some of those play calls, weird.
Well, also, you can't blame Josh Allen because he's the reason they were in that game, but he missed a throw to the end zone, and he missed an underneath route to Diggs.
There's a couple right there that were open, and then Diggs dropped that one that I would have caught. So
you know who doesn't drop the ball? Maca Ranch.
Never.
You do though, because you have my Maca Ranch food, and you won't give it to me.
Here's the thing. Last Saturday, the night I was getting sick and probably spread it to everybody in that super spreader event, I had your lamb.
You had the lamb.
The lamb and pork. I portioned. You had lamb and pork. I have a chicken and pork. It's wrapped in those really cool. Butcher, the brown butcher stuff with the Sharpie. It's really cool.
You didn't eat it, did you?
No, I ate one of mine already, but I have more. But I put them all in a bag, put them in the car, across from Redbeard. We went out and we met with some people and we talked about things. And you forgot to come and grab it. So
you forgot to bring it in. So
it's back in my freezer.
But it was frozen, right? It's okay.
Yeah, it was cold outside. So.
But that's the beef, that's the pork, that's the lamb, and it's all happy because of the acreage they have out there. 80 acres.
They got the world to play with, and there's no pesticides, there's no extra hormone injections, there's no nothing but love.
And we do love this type of small, independent business. Mm-hmm. They're trying to build it. They come to Kamloops last week. Mm-hmm. I would say they probably made a lot of money off this. Even if it hasn't shown yet, Maca Ranch has gotten its due.
I heard word on the street is that because of the publicity and all the love that KLW is showing them, they might add another animal out there.
Another animal?
Another got beef, lamb. I think they might get, they might have like a llama or something pretty soon.
They're going to have lamb? I think they already do have lamb out there.
Well, there you go.
They have farm fresh eggs, I know that.
Yes, eggs are good too. And they deliver.
Info@macaranch.ca, that's where you can find them on Facebook as well. Instagram, you can email them. Their website is macaranch.ca, stunning new website, and they deliver to Kamloops.
They do. I picked it up at the airport, that's right. Yeah.
All right, next week, Build Kamloops. You had some stuff to talk about. We were trying to get Michael O'Reilly on the show today, but he had to go have a new baby and couldn't get on the show, where his wife had the baby. So
yeah, his wife had the baby. So
I guess we can give him a pass for not coming on.
So he'll be. I talked to him on the phone. I think it's Lane Riley. I think is Layne. Lane Riley is the baby's name, and they're very, very happy. I think it's their second child, so he's taking a well-deserved rest. In fact, he said, I'm just taking a total rest with the family, which is good. So he's going to try. Well, we've got him in for next week, next Wednesday. I think we're back on Wednesdays next week, and he'll be here to talk about Build Kamloops. He's the chair of the Build Kamloops Select Committee. Build Kamloops is a committee of council that's looking at how we can build things we need in town. Performing Arts Center, RCMP detachment, ice sheets, a big central curling center, among other things. And they're looking at it from rather than a piecemeal, as a whole thing. How do we get these things going over 20 years?
120 milli project.
Well, the PAC is estimated at 120, but remember, people get all crazy about that. The last two Performing Arts Center referendums, the first one in 2015, which was defeated by the populace, Democracy in Action, it was budgeted, it was estimated to cost 70 million. But the people went to the polls and they were only asked to approve spending of up to 45 of the 70, and that's all the city could, if they would approve it, all the city could use as their money for is 45.
Yeah.
The rest would be get through grants and donations and stuff. The one that went to referendum in 2020 before the pandemic killed it was for 90 million, but people were only being asked to approval to borrow up to 49 million, which is essentially less than 15 if you factor in inflation. So it wasn't that much difference. It was exactly the same. So if it's 120 million, let's say we go to next year, we go to referendum. They're not going to be asked to fund the whole thing. It might be 50 million of it or 60 million. Remember that it's a big difference. And that 120 million, even on its own, amounts to, I think it's $1,136 per household or per person in Kamloops, which is basically $50 a month, which is basically or $50 a year, is it over 20 years? It's basically you going for 2 pints and leaving a tip. So it's not a lot. I know people are going to say, "Oh, it's everything." It's not 120 on the backs of the taxpayer. You're going to have federal, provincial grants. You're going to have a lot of fundraising already. Ron Fawcett and the family, they've pledged 10 million for the last one. I'm sure that's still there. So there's 10 million off the tab right there.
But you're concerned.
The land, they own the land already. That's all off the tab already. Unless you want to add that 4.5 million, they bought the old Daily News land to it, but that's semantics.
One of the numbers you are concerned about, though, is the $7 million proposed.
Yes.
So Build Kamloops Select Committee's recommendation to approve a plan to spend $7 million on project design work.
Design and project viability. So I think $5 million is for the design and 1.9 million is for project viability. I don't know what that means. Our friend Dave Hallahan was talking to them. Maybe we can have him
Mike
back.
Calls him David O'Houlihan.
O'Callahan. We can have him back on the show to talk, because here's
maybe not now because we keep on saying his name wrong.
Here's what really frustrated me as a journalist, and it frustrates me now, and it should frustrate everybody, because we want clarity. If they're going to say it costs $7 million to design this thing, first of all, the first question is, you have designs done from the last one. Why not just use that? If it's the same place, use the same design, use the same building. It looked beautiful. Why do you have to spend more on designs? Maybe there's a reasonable explanation, but
is it going to be in the same place?
Let's assume it is. Why do you need to spend $7 million for plans to get
exactly. Well, I agree.
And that's the question. Maybe there's a reasonable explanation. We're not engineers, right?
No, definitely not.
But here's the other thing. In the council meeting on Tuesday, Councillor Katie Newstader noted that number and said something to the effect of, yes, it's a high number, but it is what it is. We can't do anything about it. Well, I would like it itemized to the penny. Why does it cost $7 million? Where does that money go? Where does every dollar go to? I'd like to see what does that mean? How much do you pay the architect? For what? What are they doing? Mm-hmm. You know, Stanton, I think Stanton Associates, they're the ones who did the last ones. Look at those ones. I don't understand this. Then that's maybe Mike.
Surely they will be doing that, right? Don't they have to come up with a detailed plan to show?
No. What I'm saying is, but the public needs to see that. Yeah. I'm talking to the penny. Yeah. Because there probably is things in there that make you raise your eyes. $7 million for design? When you first think about that, people go, that's a lot of money for designing something. Or is it? And if it is $7 million, break it down. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm a proponent of the PAC, but
I'm not saying you're pooh-pooing it.
I just think that especially if you want to bring the people over who are on the no side, have clarity, be very clear, be very transparent.
I don't think that's going to help, because people are going to rip it to shreds regardless. Yeah. They're going to see, this $120,000, why can't you do that? But they don't really know what's going on.
You need a factual campaign. Facebook has all those pages, and I was on the Facebook page while sick as a dog on Tuesday, and they had some people talking about, I heard 120 million for this. We've already voted this down several times. No more. And I had to go and correct her and say,
we've actually, people while you were sick on Twitter as well.
We've actually voted. This has been voted on once in the history of our lives, once, and it was voted down. It wasn't voted on in 2020. And I also reminded them, and she came back and said, well, once is enough. If people say no once, then it's done. I said, well, if that's the case, we wouldn't have Riverside Park. We wouldn't have Riverside Coliseum, Sandman Centre, because those were voted down once. once, and we had to come back and get them again. You can go through the entire city of Kamloops, if not BC Place. You think of all these places, not BC Place, but you think of all the different cities that have great amenities that maybe took 2, 3, 4 times to get going. If you just said no after one, we'd be living like in the 50s still.
Do you remember last weekend, or have you kind of, the sickness just wiped away your memory? Because it was a great weekend for us last weekend.
Oh yeah, yes, that's right. That
before you got
just
sick.
Before I got sick, and before Mike went to Anaheim.
Right.
That's right, yeah. We were prepping for the big football games on the weekend, so we went down to McDonald's to get some coffee for the morning after, because especially for you, because you probably after that tragedy. And
well, we went to McDonald's. We had to get there somehow, in some way. So
we went down to
We took a Volkswagen. Yep. Terry Lowe, and you again though. You were so confused.
I didn't understand the rates. The rates, you know, I didn't. I confused them. I thought it was an over/under for an NFL game. I said, "What? 4.9? That means if I get the money back." And he just
and you're always confused with football numbers because the rouge gets into your mind.
Yeah, the rouge. Yeah, long live the rouge. Yes.
These terrible rules in the CFL.
Yes, all the best rules that God intended.
You were so confused, so dizzy that you passed out.
I think that's when I started getting sick because the numbers just got into my...
They were dizzying numbers.
Yeah, they were dizzying.
You were so dumbstruck that you passed out. Luckily, we were close by to Gord's.
Yeah, and there was a mattress right there, a Sealy mattress.
And I actually bought one of those Sealy mattresses.
A king size?
King size.
For
it's
real?
being delivered on Monday.
I thought it was supposed to be delivered last week.
Well, delivered on Monday, coming up here. The bed frame we ordered from Amazon, I'm worried I got to put that thing up this weekend.
Did it arrive?
It arrived.
Is it going to fit?
I don't know. It's in a box right now. It doesn't look like a king size box. So
well, maybe the Americans' king size is different with the exchange rate.
Could be
a double.
Do you remember the 2 cheeseburger meal?
Oh yeah.
The Arch Deluxe?
Yes.
The big extra?
Yeah.
What about the McRib?
Oh yeah, I remember the big.
Little birdie told me it's coming back.
Oh good. Yes.
So can't say much more than that, but McDonald's.
It's a delight. Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned also for our next guest. It's brought to you by McDonald's. It's above the folds right now.
Honestly, it's a lot better than I thought it would be. I mean, when I got here, there's no way I thought that you could like make a living off of like working at McDonald's, but you can, and that's kind of like changed my whole outlook on what I want to do. So yeah, I definitely can see myself staying at McDonald's because, you know, it's something that you can financially stay at and I love it, so why not? This was my last choice for a job. I applied at different places before I applied here, and I am so glad I got the job here because there's nowhere else I could really see myself. I love McDonald's, I love everything about it. I love the energy, I love the people. Just a great environment to be in. It makes me happy. I like making other people happy. So yeah, eventually I'd like to be a GM and maybe from there, move up from there. I don't know yet. I mean, kind of just going with the flow here.
Dan and Andrew, welcome to the show. Tell us about your green room experience. How was it? How was it out there?
Just out there in the workshop where they make river song guitars.
Was that amazing? And also we had you outside in the snow waiting for us.
That too.
Yeah.
Well, the guy in the workshop was nice enough to let us in.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, William Shakespeare Mystery Box.
That's right.
What is it? What can you tell us?
William Shakespeare Mystery Box is a production of one of Shakespeare's famous plays, and we're not going to tell you which one.
Okay. Why?
Because that's the gimmick. You gotta take a leap of faith and trust that you'll like Shakespeare on its face for being Shakespeare, and come enjoy the experience. I've always liked the idea of going to a play, not knowing what it's going to be, and I know that I'm a theater geek, so for the general audience, they want to at least know some idea. So if we narrowed it down to Shakespeare and not know what it's going to be, then that hopefully will get people interested in that.
Can we winnow it down to a tragedy or comedy?
I cannot.
You can't do that either, okay.
No, I can't do that.
You can tell us surprises galore, whimsical Shakespeare, pure entertainment though, right? So what can people expect?
I think people can expect a very fun show. Is it a tragedy? Is it a comedy? We can't tell you. I can tell you it is very funny. It is a lot of energy and very fun to come see.
And what are your roles?
I'm the director. I made sure that it's fun, so you have my guarantee.
All right. How long have you been doing this for?
Oh my God, I've been directing since 2015.
2015. So you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah. I mean, not a lot of gigs until you put them together yourself.
Do you still get? I mean, we're almost February 1st is coming up here. Do you still get a little bit? Kind of the last minute jitters, like, oh my goodness, is this thing good? Is it going to work?
We had a paper tech meeting last night where we get all the like technical aspects all together a week before the show so that we know we have everything and it's all under control. I was so nervous before that. I was like, oh my God, do I have everything? Why has this been so easy? What entire section did I forget? Right. And now that we've done that, I'm so relaxed. And I'm like, okay, awesome. Cool. The show's going to be great. We got it all together.
How many people are in the cast and the backstage and on the stagecraft and all that?
Like, oh yeah.
It's 4 knuckle cracks.
5 knuckles.
I think it's 9 in the cast.
Yeah, 9 in the cast.
See, that might give people an idea of what it is, because
maybe
some
there's
places.
a lot of double roles.
Oh, okay, yes, right.
And what are your jobs? Because you have multiple.
So I'm the producer, so I have to do things like get us money, come to the fundraiser dinner. There's a fundraiser dinner.
When is it?
Fundraiser dinner is on Saturday the 27th.
27th.
Saturday the 27th, and that's at the Effie.
422 Tranquil Road, North Kamloops.
One of your favorite places.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah. And I'm also acting in this show.
Producer actor. Like Warren Beatty, producer actor.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, and I'm playing what I will call a prominent role with a lot of lines.
A lot of lines.
Yeah.
There you go.
This is my script right here.
Oh yeah.
And I can't show you the front of it.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Are you constantly carrying that around with you to practice?
Yes. This has been on my person.
Yeah.
For the last 3 weeks at least, everywhere.
Good, it better be.
Because for non-theater goers, you can't bring that on the stage with you, can
you?
No.
No, if you see somebody with one of these on stage, something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
Someone's in the hospital or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, this it's a lot, and it's a lot to memorize. And in both producing and acting, I knew that if we were committing to this, I was going to have to do it myself, because who could we burden with that number of lines?
Right.
Who could we possibly ask to take on the volume? So between the two of us, we thought, well, we got to do this ourselves, and then we got to.
So, you're as producer, you mentioned you have to raise money to stage it, because you guys, it's an amateur theater company. Chimera, is that how you pronounce it? Chimera.
Chimera Theatre. That's
so,
right.
For an example, where's the money coming from to help stage this? Who's helping you? Who can we give a shout out to?
We put in a lot of grant applications.
Yeah.
And you're the money guy.
Yeah, we put in a lot of grant applications and didn't receive a single one of them.
No. But the show must go on. The show must go on.
Yeah, well, they reclassified us from one type of grant to a different type.
Bureaucracy.
That is much harder to get, and we'd really like to.
In some ways, we got a promotion, but it was not a good one.
A promotion, but demotion in the money department. Yes, all right.
Yeah.
But our major sponsors have been the Effie Arts Collective, where they let us rehearse every week, which is so fantastic.
Yep.
And my parents' restaurant, the Stockpot Cafe.
Oh, the Stockpot! You know what you need to do there? You need to bring the buffet back on Fridays. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, because I went in there one Friday for a buffet and I was heartbroken.
We used to work near there.
Yeah, we're the newspaper, so we walked over, and on the Friday they had the best buffet in the world. The salad bar alone.
This isn't a stock pot.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
They've been nice enough to let us rehearse there a couple of times when the Effie has a show in there, which understandably trumps our rehearsal.
Right. Okay.
Chimera. It's a hybrid often of a lion, a goat, and a snake. What do you see yourself as out of those three? That's a snake over there. Venom, spewing venom.
Well, the founders of the company, who are dear friends of ours, named it that because it had 3 heads. So you'd have to ask them which one they are.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right. And Chimera Theatre is an amateur theatre. How long has it been around? How can people get involved? I'm assuming the people involved in the play, including yourselves, have day jobs. So this is like extremely time consuming.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get involved, email us at info@Chimera Theatre. If you follow us on our social medias and stuff, that's
Chimera
a great way
Theatre.
to get in touch.
Okay.
Chimera Theatre on basically everything.
We always want volunteers. We always want members. We always want sponsors. And then at our AGM, you can join. Yeah, that's our poster there, William Shakespeare Mystery Box.
At the Pavilion. Yep.
Yeah, it's going on at the Pavilion Theatre.
February 1st to 3rd and 8th to 10th. All right.
Yeah, and come to our auditions when we put out casting calls. If you want to act, you can come to auditions. Come out and support us by coming to this. Support us by coming to the Freudian Slips Improv.
Yep.
There's some exciting things coming up with the Slips soon. We got a class.
Yeah, classes on the
Class is
horizon.
beginning.
Starting at near the end of February on
Good.
the 22nd.
There's our regular improv shows, and then there's our famous Dungeons and Dragons improv. So there's a lot going on. If you want to be involved at Chimera Theatre, there's a lot. There's a lot you can do.
You talk about all the lines you have, and I was going to ask you this anyway. What's it like to be up there and have that moment where something just doesn't click, and you're left with that little, I don't want to put any bad seeds here, but, and you're like, how do you get past that? Have you had a really...
You basically just screamed out Macbeth at him.
Improv is a skill that we, of course, with the Slips have built quite a lot. And so, when you make a mistake, you can't derail, you cannot stop, you cannot say, oh, sorry, can we go back?
This has got to get going.
We're on stage. This is the show. So you got to improvise your way back to
the line.
The rest of your team knowing where we are now. Yeah, and with Shakespeare,
and you got to do it in a way that the audience doesn't catch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that goes for any show, but with Shakespeare, the lines are, of course, the language is challenging. Shakespeare is something that people do in high school English, and you read it and you write it down and you struggle with the language, and the secret is it's meant to be seen. It's meant to be performed.
Right.
It is a tough read, but it's not meant to be read. It's meant to be experienced.
And if people go see it, they don't have to read it.
And I think that people will be surprised by how intuitive and how natural and how unchallenging the language is.
Sure.
People can check it out February 1st to 3rd and February 8th to 10 at the Pavilion Theatre. Tickets available, Kamloops Live Box office. Thank you both for coming in today. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center T-Swift Trivia featuring
Welcome back to Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center with the star of the show, Reese Wilson. Okay, Reese, let's dive right into a T-Swift question right off the bat because I'm excited about this one. All right. On which day was Taylor Swift born?
Oh, December 13th, 1989.
That day is also my birthday.
What? No way.
I knew you'd be excited. December 13th.
Is it actually?
But 84. So you get that one right. And now tell us about this discontinued model.
Yes, so we've got this Whirlpool wall oven here on the floor. We have talked about it before, we're just touching briefly on it again. It is a disco model, just last year's model. It's a really good machine though. It's got your smart screen and everything, and all your fun stuff on there.
Disco, that means discontinued. 1999, nothing wrong with it, down from $26.99.
Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center T-Swift Trivia featuring Reese Wilson. KLW on the Blazers, the W on the Bees.
Brian, Michael, Missy Cederholm, you're already mad at me. She's mad at me. It's KMHA night. It's also Literacy and Kamloops Book Drive night. So they want kids' books, and I have Shakespeare and Hunter S. Thompson up here. So how mad are you already?
I'm not mad, but we definitely want to encourage people to bring kids' books to the game.
Okay. What do you think about the selection up here?
It's good. You got Ernest Hemingway, two of them, and you have Hunter S. Thompson, and you have your dad, Ross Hastings.
My dad's books up
His
there.
dad is Ross Hastings, and he's got a PhD in chemistry and in theology, and he's the top dude teaching at Regent's College at UBC. He's a big brain. He might be adopted.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is the book. Anyway, it's his dad's quite amazing.
Do you want to give us a quick rundown on the festivities for Saturday? Because there's a couple things going on.
Yeah, sure. So it's Kamloops Minor Hockey Night. That's part of our community commitment program. We've got local sponsors who have donated tickets to bring Kamloops Minor hockey teams to the game. And we've given out about 600 tickets, so lots of kids coming to the game. There'll be a lot of energy, good environment for the players for sure.
How often have you dealt with kids throughout your career, whether it be wanting autographs or the skate, when you guys skate with the kids, and how much do they love meeting you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely pretty cool getting to meet some of the little kids that are fans of us, and they grow up watching us, so yeah, definitely really cool. Yesterday I was actually at RLC, a school.
Clements and
out in Barnhartville.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, correct. And just seeing all the kids and how they kind of look up to you, it's definitely a really cool feeling.
What were you doing there?
We were playing some floor hockey, actually.
Okay. No reading. You didn't read to them because they used to do that, right? Sometimes you go to the schools and read to the kids.
Yeah, I think we sometimes do that, but yesterday we just played floor
hockey.
So yeah.
You got a pic there, Bill? We can flash up. Speaking of minor hockey days. Hey, that's you.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah.
You were look at how young these guys.
That wasn't
when
very
they're
long
drafted,
ago.
right?
The difference, though, really.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So who's your minor hockey team there? That's the Canadian Sports
Yale.
School.
Yeah,
That's Yale.
correct.
That's
Yeah, Yale Hockey Academy. So I played there for about 4 years. Obviously a big part of my career, and overall it was a great experience.
You grew up in Langley, though, right?
Yeah.
So were you part of the Langley minor hockey teams there?
Yeah, I played Langley minor hockey, up until Yale. So yeah, I spent a good majority of my playing there, and just like Yale, it was a great experience, and yeah.
How often do people call you Michael? You get Ryan Michael, and it's like one of those two first names. How often does that happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably gotten mixed up a couple times. I mean, my nickname's Mikey, so
that makes it even tougher.
It kind of helps, so I guess if people don't really remember my name, they can just say Mikey. So
where does Missy come from? Is there a story behind your name?
My name is Melissa.
Melissa. You didn't know
It
that?
is.
I thought it was Missy.
I got a niece who's Melissa.
Yeah, my mom's always called me Missy. I don't know why she bothered to name me Melissa. I don't answer to it.
And no one's ever called you Melissa?
No.
What
Not
about when your mom was
unless-
mad at you? Would she say no?
No.
Okay.
Some people in the office call me that when they're trying to be funny.
Okay.
It's not that funny.
Like Tim O'Donovan.
Like Tim O'Donovan, exactly.
Yeah.
That's right.
Tough go for you guys overall in the season, but some good results coming in. Well, Victoria had a positive result. Are you seeing some progress being made here?
yeah, definitely. I feel like the past few games have been really good for us. I feel like we have some young guys that are really starting to step up and really just play their role and play the right way, which is great to see. I feel like we got a really good test against Kelowna this weekend, where we're looking to obviously win both games, and I think if we keep playing the way we are, I think we got a really good chance.
I'm glad you brought up the young guy part, because Sean Clouston, your head coach, I talked to him after the deadline, and he was pretty forward in his comments to the media, saying, our 06 group isn't really getting traction, and I'm like, oh, that's basically he's trying to light a fire. And I asked him again, yes. He said, yeah, that's what I was trying to do. So are you noticing then that there was kind of, people got the message, and you can't wait till next season, you got to make it happen now. So are you noticing that happen?
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like they kind of know where we're at in the season, and they know what's on the line. So I feel like we've definitely seen quite a few of our players step up.
Favorite book growing up?
Favorite book? I've always been a fan of The Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
I love that too.
Yeah.
I don't know that book.
Oh, it's great.
No?
It's a series.
What is
There'll be some movies out of it.
Yeah.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid?
Yeah. It's about, his name's Greg Heffley. Him, his brother Roderick, and Manny, I believe. I guess he was kind of like the small, scrawny, kind of nerdy kid growing up, and then his older brother Roderick would kind of, I guess, tease him and try to get in his head. So kind of goes along his life growing up and how he had to deal with that.
Did you have older siblings?
I did. Yeah, I do actually. My older sister, Kayla. Yeah, she's 23 now. Okay. So.
Were you scrawny when you were young? Does it resonate with you?
No, I wouldn't say it relates to me too much, but definitely an interesting book. So.
It's excellent books. My son's 22, and he grew up loving those books, and then going to see the movies. It's just fantastic books.
What about you, Missy? Do you have your favorite book?
You know what? I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but it was like about a little red fire truck and a fire cat. And I read that book every day through school. Every week we'd go to the library to pick out a book, and I'd pick out the same book.
Oh, right on.
So it was definitely a fan favorite, but
cool.
I don't remember the name.
Questions from you?
Well, just a couple of hockey-wise. I grew up in Abbotsford, and there was a big rivalry, junior hockey, Abbotsford Flyers, Langley Lords, way back in the day. What was it like going to Abbotsford and hanging out there? And is it any different than Langley with respect to just the community, or is it so close it just becomes one metropolis to you guys?
I mean, I wouldn't say there's too much of a difference, to be honest. I would take the bus to Abbotsford every morning and then bus back at about 3:30.
So you wouldn't have to bill it there.
Well, there's a certain smell in Abbotsford.
Well, it's a smell of money. It's a smell of money.
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't have to bill it like, say, Stan Coven and all those guys?
No. Yeah, I lived at home. I actually billeted like a couple of my teammates.
At the Langley house?
Yeah, in my house in Langley. So yeah, we would take the bus in the morning.
He's from Langley. He's not going to go billet
20
minutes down the road.
It's a pretty fancy academy.
That's true.
Have you in mansions on Glen Mountain there, looking over top of the school there. Right. And the other question I have is just more about this Saturday. It's literacy night, and what should people bring, and where do they put the books?
Oh yeah.
What's this all about? Why are we doing this?
Yeah, definitely. So it's part of the Unplug and Play Literacy Week, supporting literacy in Kamloops. We've done this for multiple years, so we're just encouraging fans to bring a new or gently used children's book. If you have books at home, don't go out and buy a new one. Bring one that your kids no longer read. We're donating them all. There will be a spot right inside the front entrance where they can donate them. And we're hoping to collect lots for them.
And these books go into those little red bookshelves and
they
all
go
that
into
kind of
the little
stuff?
red bookshelves.
Right.
They go into the schools.
Excellent.
I don't know everywhere that they use them, but there's lots of opportunity
Fantastic.
to share.
Fiona Clare is part of this thing, right? At Link and all that.
Yes.
Yeah, great organization.
Don't bring books about World War I ambulance drivers.
Don't bring any
kids books. Kids books.
Yes.
Okay, Ryan, Michael, Missy Cederholm, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Volkswagen.
Kamloops Mayor Reid Hamer-Jackson. It's an impromptu edition of Reader's Digest. We didn't know we were going to have you on this morning. I got a text from Folds a couple hours ago saying Reid's in Mexico and we're going to talk to him. Folds, why are we having the mayor on?
Well, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Okay. Well,
I'm on what you call a work holiday. I work more. Everybody around me, including my wife, think that I should be at sitting in my office, but I kind of am anyway. So
no, that's fine. No, I just wanted to clarify for any viewers out there because earlier this month, in December you went for vacation to Cabo like you normally do with the family, recharge for the year, and you came back to Kamloops and you were on our show, and then now you're back down there, and I just wanted, because there's some people in the community saying, well, you were just in Mexico. What are you doing in Mexico now? And
who?
Well, it's just online. People are wondering, like online.
No, yeah, but who? I'm not online, so I don't know. Who is?
I think I read in one of the media.
People that obviously don't pay attention to the our council meetings and everything. I guess. Eh?
Well, I think Stephen Karpuk, Councillor Stephen Karpuk, mentioned. He mentioned to one of the news outlets that he was caught by surprise because he had to do some duties. He wasn't aware you were in Mexico, but you were at the meeting by
Sounds
Zoom.
Like hey. Sounds like last year. Do you remember what happened?
Yeah, well, when you came back, yeah.
Yeah, they knew exactly when I was going to be back. And actually, our EA, Councillor Karpuk, knows that we have a executive assistant
Chrissy
to the mayor and council. And if he's saying that he wasn't aware that I'm in Mexico, then
I think he said
he better pay a little bit more attention, because I got to tell you, I've been in communication with him a lot since he's become the deputy mayor in January, and he doesn't really get back to quick all the time, or I'm asking him to look into things on the agenda, which obviously he hadn't read and things like that. So, but anyways.
So are you saying
is that what we're here for, though?
No, let me put a caveat out there. I haven't talked to Stephen. I'm just saying this is what I read in one of the articles, and I think he mentioned that he was caught sort of unawares. But
I think he's caught quite unaware a lot of times. That's not my problem. I'm allowed to have a holiday.
Absolutely.
I guess I could be in Alaska, or I could be sitting in the office next to you, but I've been very busy. As a matter of fact, I've been available 24/7.
You're saying it was communicated.
Any other topics? Can we talk about? I don't know if I updated you guys. Did I update you guys about talking to the ministry?
One second. My question would be, are people being loaded with duties that you were supposed to be doing while you were in Kamloops?
No, not at all. Matter of fact, I think Councillor Karpuk had to go to one event. The deputy mayor's duties are their main duty is, unless I'm not available or incapacitated or whatever, is to return emails. And I see the emails, but the protocol is the deputy mayor return them. And I've been quite active in making sure that gets done. So, Councillor Karpuk, he's a busy guy. As you know, he's a chiropractor and things like that. So, like I said, Chrissy, our EA, she's well aware of that. So, no, they haven't been. But again,
has any other councillor been like, "Hey, what's going on here? Why are you in Mexico?" Or has it just been him talking to you?
No. No, it hasn't been any of them. They all take holidays. They all know what it's like. No. I mean, they don't. When somebody goes to India, they go to India. I come here. I don't. This isn't a holiday. I work every day.
But I'm confused though.
Every day I work.
Why did you go to Mexico and then come back and then go again? I think that's the kind.
Well, I went first, and then the first time I came, I had always planned to do something to that effect. But the first time I went, we have about 20 or 30 people around the little community that we're here, and all of them, including my wife, were saying, what's going on? And I was pretty much all the time in here dealing with, right now I'm dealing with a lot of things, a lot of legal issues that are very unnecessary, I believe, and things like that. But, a lot of different meetings and things like that. So, I haven't had a lot of time to spend with anybody. But anyway, I wanted to go back and I wanted to, take care of some stuff, council meetings and that sort of thing.
All right.
I got a phone call, as a matter of fact, just before midnight from Glenn Hilke, which, again, I was available. And, I think we had about 15 or 18 people that he was having to kick out, and they were going to be on the street, and it was like minus 30, and, they could have potentially froze to death. And, the great work of Will Beatty, I'm sure I can say his name, but he did great work because I called him the late evening, and he didn't answer originally because he was sleeping just like I was when Glenn Hilke called me, and Will phoned me right back, and he made some decisions, and we got those people into a safe place and lessened the deaths on the street. It's just crazy. I don't know how many have we got. Do you guys know?
Well, there's one for sure. One for sure this winter. Hey,
three possible people that froze.
Well, I know of one for sure, but then we have a death in a fire under the bridge, apparently. So who knows?
Right. Yeah. So possibly, potentially.
Yeah.
Either way, we got to get those outreach workers out there. I was told we had 25 outreach workers on the street, and I sure would like to see them out there because, it's tough. It's tough. Anyway, by the way, the ministry's working on it. Just so you know.
What else were you going to say? You wanted to talk about something there. Well, you said before. You said something about the ministry.
Oh yeah. That I had a meeting also with the ministry, and and they said they're working on it. On what next steps, and that's something I tried to relay to Councillor Karpuk, to relay to CEO Trawin, to let him know. And it was a journey, man. I'll tell you, it was a journey. So
what was the journey?
I've been trying. I've been waiting. You know, the procedure that I've got, where I've got to go through the deputy mayor. I mean, I've been asking Deputy Mayor Bass since December the 18th. You know, asking questions and still don't have answers. You know, like I said, if I want to ask her a question, I'd ask her, but it was to go through to our staff. So.
What about?
But anyway, how's everything else going, Cal?
What about the legal issues? Can you update us?
Well, the legal issues are, you know what? I can't talk of them, but there's a plenty of code of conduct files happening, and like I said, I can't speak of them or who initiated them or anything like that. But it's
wasting your time. You feel like, though,
it's very, very, very costly in time, and it's, you know, it's a new code of conduct. You know, when we amended the code of conduct, but it seems to be a tool, and at the end of the day, I just, you know, when the taxpayers know the cost of all of this investigation stuff. And by the way, yesterday I talked to Kristen. Apparently she's got the report that you've got there, Chris.
Okay, good.
She asked me a question that you didn't ask. She asked me if CEO Trawin, if I had ever said to him that I'll bury, and I said, nope, I've never said that to anybody my whole life.
Okay.
I'll bury
65 years old, never said that, but I didn't hear that coming out of here.
What's the ballpark on the cost? You mentioned costs. People,
I have no idea.
No?
No idea, but you know what? It's just like these code of conduct things. You know, they're not done by just they're done by lawyers. They're not done by just a regular investigating company or whatever. They're done, but it's a huge cost. You know.
Be nice to know how much it's all costing at the end.
Well, at the end of the day, we're going to find that out. I mean, it might not be right away, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's no different than closed meetings, and I think they a lot of them might be public someday. You know, so.
Okay, yeah. So you're going to get at least some time. Part of the reason why you're back in Mexico is so you can at least spend some time with your family. So you got anything fun planned? You guys gonna do anything fun?
No, but the other day we took a side by side up the East Cape, and that was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
you know, and stuff like that. But I've still got a lot of stuff to do. Like I've got lots of things to do, and I'll be heading back. I think I'll be heading back probably this weekend, just after the weekend, because we've got the LGLA in Vancouver, and I do have some meetings in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. Again, some legal meetings and different things like that. I'll be meeting some different people, so we'll have that, and yeah.
One last thing, what's your thoughts on this? Looks like the Performing Arts Center portion of the Build Kamloops is getting going forward here. They're going to be talking about it next week, I think, with respect to getting the PAC back on a referendum or just back on an approval. What do you know about that? What do you know about the $7 million design? Is the idea to build it in the same place they wanted to before at 4th and Seymour? Any updates on that?
I believe that's the case, and like I've always said that I agree that we need a performing arts center, but I really believe and believe that it needs to be in an area that's big and combined with recreation and combined with like Chilliwack or areas like that. But it's kind of funny when my standing committees got squashed. It was all about my drinking buddies and which weren't. Some people didn't even drink, but it was about my friends and campaign supporters. But twice now I've asked for a list of the volunteers for these working groups, and I noticed that there's a lot of them that have supported some of our council's campaigns and friends and things like that, and even campaign managers of other people that were running for mayor and things like that. But back to the Performing Arts Center, I think we really need federal. We need to dig deep into
grants and such,
like grants, like huge grants. I mean, one of the councilors, when I talked about grants here a little bit ago, he said, well, that's like buying a lottery ticket. Well, guess what? We're getting more grants now. And, like I said, one of our staff members came down and said, oh, where'd you find those grants? So I think that we got to look big. I think that the province, when they were going to do that thing in Victoria for how many millions of dollars. Remember, what was it, a museum or something?
Yeah, the Royal BC Museum.
And also, I don't know how much we're. I think it'd be great to look into working with the Kamloops for something like that. Hey, let's listen. We got 250 acres just north of Kamloops, and people go out there to play ball and to do this and play soccer and lacrosse and everything else. It's 260 acres, and again, if we can get some big federal money and provincial money, and again, I don't know. I'm not saying anything, but working with the Kamloops. Matter of fact, they've got acreage out there also, but I think right now laying it on the taxpayers and just focusing, it kind of got stuck back to the top, the Performing Arts Center, when recreation and other things were a lot bigger on the table than I believe, and to spend $7 million, like, I don't know, before we send that out, I'd surely like to see every media source and Facebook page and everything else putting out a poll to ask how much people want that. And the other thing is, parking to me is an issue, and I think we need to go big. I mean, like Penticton, you guys being in Penticton, look at the parking there at the rinks and stuff like that. You could have a convention center, art center, and so that when people come from hopefully Calgary and all over the map for events, that there's going to be lots of parking and that's what I think. Getting something combined, even agriculture. I mean, even agriculture and recreation and arts. And, let's not. Even right now, you take the interior savings when we've got our hockey teams on a roll, and there's a lot of people in the stands. You got to walk a long way in the winter to get to that rink, and we do get minus 30, as you guys noticed, and we do every time. It's kind of like I'm still upset about having to kick people out onto the streets, in the mornings. We got to do a better job.
Well, I guess next week, they're on the 30th. I think the discussions about the pack is going to start, so it's going to be really interesting to see where it goes from here for sure.
Yeah. Like I said, it seems to have elevated itself from the beginning of our strategic plan. It seems to have crept back up onto the top. And again, I'm not against anything like that. I just think that we could possibly get more grant money by
I think that's
combining.
The idea is to get the grants, for sure.
Things and even working with the Kamloops possibly, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, we got 260 acres. Everybody keeps forgetting we got 260 acres. 10 or 12 years ago, we put the ranch out there, and
isn't it
land we already got.
Too late for this though? Like, isn't it too late to change course on where it's going to be?
I don't know. We don't know what the plan is.
I thought that's why we elected a mayor and council.
We'll find out more next week, I guess. We're going to have Mike O'Reilly on the show next week. He's the chair of the Bill Kamloops Select Committee. Maybe he can give us more information next week.
Do you think you're going to be able to get more council to vote with the mayor?
Too. There's land. He's got lots of land too, but we've also got lots of city land. Like I say, just north of Kamloops. I think we got 260 acres. So yeah. Again, I think we got. I'd like to see going big with a lot of federal and provincial money. And hey, maybe we can get the Kamloops. Maybe we can do something there. To me, it makes sense, but it's a lot of people.
Do you think you're going to be able to get more of your council members to vote with you this year?
What's that?
Do you think you're going to have a better chance this year of getting more council members to vote with you on issues throughout the year?
I can't think what they're thinking. I can't think what they're thinking at all. But like I said, I can't. You'd have to ask them. You'd probably get a better idea than I would.
What about? Do you have any strategies though? Are you going to? I know you're not a politician, but maybe you start thinking like, I'm going to use some political guile, or maybe play a bit more politics to try and get some more people with you, so you can make some changes.
Well, first, again, I wouldn't want to tell you strategy because then it might not work very good. But I think allowing other people to be the voice, and then just being quiet. I don't know if you noticed the Noble Creek incident. Even to get it extended as long as we did, I was very quiet when all those users were in there, and somebody did pull up a motion, and that was great. So I think letting other people take the lead. I think Councillor Karpuk, I thought it was great that he conducted a council meeting. He publicly appreciated that I appointed him to chair the meeting, and hopefully all the stuff in the background won't continue and keep spending taxpayers' money for no reasons.
Yeah, well, I was thinking to myself, I believe you. You want to make change. You want to do what in your mind is good things for the city, but the way that it's happened so far in your tenure hasn't worked. So I'm thinking, maybe do you want to change some things about the way you do things, or do you have to kind of go and play nice to people you might not want to play nice to make things change, to make the change you want to make?
Well, it's kind of like when I called Section 131 about the drug use thing. And nobody even talks about that, but the reason I did that was because to work with Interior Health about the drug use thing, and I did it to open more avenues. Like I said, we had, we've got 10 safe, you know what I'm talking about, the open drug use in part of that. But, like I said, I called that Section 131 for a reason, and somebody else took the lead of it. But it was because I knew that we had, and even people at Interior Health that I contacted, we had 10 safe injection sites. And, if they could be converted or upgraded to inhalation sites, because they're all provincial government, they're all our money. It's all our money. So they're already there. We have like 10 of them, and all in supportive housing or shelters and things like that. So if you've got 10 spots, if you've got a spot right outside of Riverside Park that you could consume at, well, then there's not a really good reason for somebody to be doing it in front of a bunch of kids playing at the water park. Or, you know what I mean? Like, if you've got more places for people to do it, then they're going to have less chances of them going and hiding it, doing somewhere else, and overdosing, stuff like that. So in one way, we're kind of fortunate, because a lot of cities do not have and are not built with safe injection sites. Where, like I said, I believe we've got about 10 of them.
One last thing I wanted to ask you before we let you go back to your work down there. Bill Bilton Sr. died recently.
I just heard that. I feel so bad. I babysat my sisters more, but I babysat Bilton's kids when we lived on the same street down on Clifford Avenue.
Yeah, well, he created the dunes. I think he built River Shore Golf. He owned many.
Brock, he lived out in Brock. He did the Brock shop.
He was a legendary developer and everything. What are your thoughts about him and his death and his legacy?
Oh, I just think Bill was a great guy. He was such a nice guy. I haven't seen Bill for a lot of years, but he was a great guy. Great family. His wife was very nice. Like I said, when I was younger, we lived just down the road from them in Brocklehurst on Clifford Avenue, and no, he's a great guy. And you know what though? But and condolences to all of his family, and you know what? But I'm sure that Bill's in a better place right now. So. Like I said, we go back quite a long ways. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't know that, but yeah, we lived right on Clifford Avenue in Brocklehurst.
Cool.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Mayor. I hope you and Mr. Karpuk can sort things out.
Oh, he's gonna have to really work on that. And I had no problem. We had a council meeting the other day, and it was fine. And it's same as we had BC Housing come in front of us, and that's one thing I really think that we should do. Again, the will of council don't want to write a letter saying that we don't need a review of the facilities. Well, then that's fine. If they don't care that there's 800 emergency calls inside of a small area on a street, and that's them calling on themselves, well, then let's just do a little survey of the surrounding areas around these shelters and some supportive housing places. Again, you know what? I went with the chamber, and we went out to Valley View to some of the car lots out there, and then they had some big concerns about damage and things like that, and I just don't know why we can't get, or maybe we can get our staff to do it. I don't know, but we just got to get her done. We got to get a safer community in that way there. Maybe, like I said, if I care, I've just had a guy that I knew just died here just in the last 2 weeks, and he's the guy that back in the day when we were working on a notice of motion to do the recovery wellness ranch. That's when the old concentration camp thing come up, which again I had no intention of that. But he's one of the guys that actually said to me, geez, that'd be great. And other people on the streets have told me that he would talk about that all the time. Because he had some skills, and he said, oh yeah, and I could teach younger people this and that. And another guy that's on the street, I think I told you guys, he started. Maybe we'll start a marble club, and I heard that for years, So yeah.
Okay.
And we got budget stuff. We got budget. We got to start trying to get some little bit of tax revenue here instead of spending money. Let's see if we can make some changes.
11%. Bring it down. Bring it down.
Can you try and just get some sleep? This whole 24/7 thing, I don't know. It's not good for you, man.
Well, no, but I was sleeping when Glenn Hilke called me, okay?
You were sleeping when Hilke called, so you're not up all the time.
The person at the ministry said, you should take a holiday.
You do sleep. It's true.
You do sleep. I can't. I got to tell you, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 devices. I don't turn my phone off. I never have. In the business I was in,
one for recording
kids,
other people.
Just don't shut your phone off. So when Glenn Hilke called me, I have my ringer on, and I hope most people don't. Like you guys, I hope you don't, because in the past I've called you guys at certain times, and
I'm not answering your call at 3 a.m.
Again, the city runs 24/7. The city runs 24/7. If I wouldn't have taken that phone call from Mr. Hilke, and if our Will Beattie did a great job. I got to commend him. He took, he didn't answer originally because he was sleeping, but he called me right back, and he took action. So, Marty, when we don't have people sleeping out in the cold, freezing to death, and we don't have record overdoses. Matter of fact, we went down by I think 12 this year, which is better.
Yep.
Then maybe I will shut my phone off.
I just want you at your
best. Or if I shut off for a couple of days, I'll do? I'll contact the deputy mayor, and they can go to work.
Well, I hope that communication works out. I hope that to contact him, you have to probably contact 4 other people to get to him, though. At this point, so.
Like I said, I've been waiting for answers. People say, "Why didn't you ask that question over there? Be out of public." Well, because I can't get answers. I've been waiting for answers from Councillor, the then Deputy Mayor Bass, since December 18th. Guess what?
You and Dale and Steven should go to Peter's Pasta and have a nice dinner and get over this, okay?
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you something. Like I said, I can work with anybody. But when this stuff happens like this is just and it's great for you. I had Brett Menier calling me, yesterday we had, or whatever day it was, I'm losing track here, but we had council meeting, and Brett Menier's texting me, like, for way too long. And I said, Brett, the only way I'm going to talk to you is in live, okay? I'll go on live on your show. And then you can ask me questions just like I do with you guys. And, if I get in trouble, I get in trouble, but just tell it straight up the way it is. And like I said, I have never said to anybody, ever, I will bury you.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot for doing this. Try and have some fun today, not all work, all right?
Well, I will, but if you guys want to get a hold of me, have you guys ever had a hard time getting a hold of me?
No, it's been pretty easy. Too much, it's actually, too easy sometimes.
Hey, and if I was in Alaska, there might not be as good a cell phone service, so sorry.
Okay, all right, so we'll talk to you later. See ya.
Okay, take care.
Yeah.
Volkswagen.
All right, it's been a long show, been a good show, eventful show, surprising visit from the mayor.
I want to clarify something with the mayor thing, just because we mentioned Councillor Stephen Karpuk. We were quoting, he told Kristen Holiday from Castanet, friend of the show, she had written a story that mentioned that he's told her that he found out on Monday, January 22nd, that only found out on Monday, January 22nd, that the mayor wouldn't be there the following day to chair the meeting and the public hearing. So when we said that he was given short notice, we're quoting Kristen Holliday's speaking to him for her story, just in case there's any confusion. And that's all that was in there. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Any thoughts on what the mayor had to say?
The reason we had him on was to say, because there was some people chatter. He asked me when I called or texted him, who's talking, who's asking. I'm just saying, just the masses, the general people on social media. Some are saying, what the heck, what's he doing in Mexico? He was just in Mexico before. What's he doing? And I was confused because he was on our show.
He was just in Mexico, yeah.
Yeah, he came on the show. We talked about his time in Mexico, and now he's back in Mexico. It was just kind of confusing. But he clarified, saying that it's one long vacation. He had to come back and do some stuff, and he wanted to get some more vacation in. He's got the time. No qualms with that. And it's good to have him on to talk about the issues. And of course, his issues are interesting to hear about. Hilke calling him in the middle of the night and him calling Will Beattie is very, very interesting. Interesting thoughts on the whole pack thing. He told us that before, where he wants to go big, right?
Yeah.
I think at the time he said, let's get people from Saskatoon coming out here to watch stuff. But he wants to, if you can do something, go big, is what he's saying. So that's interesting. And hopefully we get more clarity next week from Mike O'Reilly and from the council meeting as to where this pack will be. I'm assuming it's the same spot, but maybe not.
Well, yeah, because he's talking about all those big,
talking about the
big ideas.
and
but
Rayleigh and everything.
I thought it's kind of like late in the game for that, and that we're going back to the same kind of area.
We don't know. We'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blazers today, they were cool having them on. Ryan Michael,
Nice
Missy
kid.
Cederholm.
Yep.
Book drive. Bring your books Saturday
Kids
night.
books.
Kids
books. Not these books, but kids books.
And you'll be going to that play, I guarantee. You're going to that play, though.
Oh yeah,
Shakespeare.
I think I'll go to that play.
You talked to them. Did they give you any more hints? What it was?
No, but I guessed what it was. Midsummer's Nights, but I don't think that's it either, because it's winter, so who knows?
Yeah.
There's 38
But that might
plays.
be the best way to do it. They wouldn't expect Midsummer Night's Dream in January.
He wrote 38 plays, so that's a lot of plays to deduce from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks to Bennett and Bill today. Great job. No Magic Mike. He will be back next week, we hope. For our sponsors, too, we are very thankful for them. Gord Stevens, Steve Rogers, Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center. Thank you for the mattress. Well, I'm paying for it, but I'll pick it up on Monday. You'll deliver it on Monday. They service what they sell. They deliver for free delivery. Amazing. Volkswagen at Kamloops, Terry low rates out there. Valley View Drive there. East
Auto Mall.
Yep, Auto Mall. McDonald's, Brandy Seacon. The McRib, I heard potentially coming back. That's great news. And our final day with Maca Ranch today, our final day. So I think they're going to be back. There was talk of us going out there to Maca Ranch to do a special kind of advertising thing where we go to the ranch in the spring, maybe bring the team and maybe film some stuff out there.
Film a barbecue.
Going to cost them big money, you know that. And also the Kamloops Blazers. Thanks to them. For Christopher, for Bennett, for Bill, and for Magic Mike, I'm Marty. We'll see you last week.
Last.